don't have a lot of money. They've let go over 24 people, and it was largely a financial decision.
Hi there, it's WAMC News Director Ian Pickus. And on this episode of the WAMC News Podcast, we explore the turmoil at Project Veritas. News broke this month that right-wing media provocateur James O'Keefe, the longtime head of Project Veritas, is being investigated by the Westchester County District Attorney. O'Keefe shot to fame with undercover videos meant to undercut progressive nonprofits and news organizations. He faces questions over financial improprieties during his time running Project Veritas, and the organization appears to be in some turmoil after his exit. Reporter Matthew Phelan broke the story for The Nation and joins us now. Thank you for being here.
It is a pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
So for people who might not remember all the twists and turns of O'Keefe's story, just remind us kind of what he's been up to and how he made his name.
Try and give you the whistle-stop tour here. James O'Keefe probably first rose to national prominence in the fall of 2009. He and a colleague from conservative activism named Hannah Giles went with hidden cameras to the offices of a community organizing group called Acorn, ostensibly as a pimp and a prostitute trying to get a home loan or home loan advice for some sort of brothel. But in reality, he was posing as a law school student who's in sort of Pretty Woman style, was dating a prostitute who needed to get away from her abusive former pimp and needed a home and a home loan. The furor and media frenzy created by these videos led to Acorn dissolving, led to Congress defunding Acorn, and launched his career as a hidden camera dirty trickster and a farm team for harvesting more hidden camera dirty tricksters to go after all perceived enemies of the far right in this country, whether it is Obamacare navigators or NPR executives or people working on political campaigns. These days, they've been going after Pfizer executives. They're obsessed with big tech and the way they feel they have been unfairly shadow banned or in some ways delegitimized by hidden algorithms on these social media platforms. And it's been a lucrative, ostensible nonprofit career for O'Keefe. They went from, five-figure and six-figure incomes to earning, as of their last IRS report, $22 million roughly in charitable donations.
O'Keefe recently and surprisingly left the organization. What happened there?
It's murky because of the conflicting Rashomon-style narratives to it. But what seems to have been the case is that O'Keefe attempted to unilaterally fire the group's then chief financial officer, Tom O'Hara. And it was over a dispute over O'Keefe's spending because O'Keefe sort of enjoyed spending money and enjoyed living a slightly lavish lifestyle. And he needed the board's approval to remove an officer that senior. And they were planning on trying to resolve discrepancies in the books so that the nonprofit was, to the extent possible, in accordance with 501c3 nonprofit charities law. And they had put O'Keefe on a paid leave so that they could essentially get him out of their hair while they looked at the books. And in that process, O'Keefe decided to pull a classic, "You can't fire me because I quit." And he gave a rousing videotape, sort of St. Crispin's Day resignation speech, and decamped to create a for-profit entity that's doing very much the same kind of stuff he's been doing for the past decade.
Can you say more about the questions over the finances? What is he, accused of doing with the money that Project Veritas raised?
He is accused of spending quite a bit of money on high-end limo services, over $150,000 at least. And what we understand from that now, following the reporting that we published, is that he would let some of those cars idle. He would get out of an Uber XL or something and eat at a restaurant and just tell the driver to stick around, like it was his personal Jeeves or something. And there was an instance where he spent $14,000 on a charter flight to meet someone to fix his sailboat under the guise of meeting with a donor. And according to the Veritas board, who published all of this, $60,000 for quote-unquote dance events, which included this kind of pop musical, questionably autobiographical celebration of his life called the Project Veritas Experience, which, if memory serves, they tried to do a Vegas review of, but it didn't exactly, there's no residency at the moment,
It wasn't a rousing success.
Right.
So let's bring in the confirmation that you got from the Westchester County D.A. Mimi Roca's office that they are investigating O'Keefe. What do we know about that investigation?
Precious little, unfortunately. We know that it's happening. We know that per comments that the Westchester County D.A. told the Associated Press in a follow-up to our reporting, that they're quote-unquote looking into O'Keefe. The Westchester County DA seems to want to avoid explicitly saying what crimes or potential crimes they are investigating regarding James O'Keefe. But from talking to people who worked at Project Veritas, who may or may not still work there, what we can say with, I think, a strong degree of credibility is that this investigation began as far back as April. So they've been doing it for about 4 months. They subpoenaed Project Veritas's longtime tax preparer, Ed Hulse, who is a family friend of the O'Keefes. They brought in the chief financial officer, Tom O'Hara, in for an interview at the DA's office. They requested financial documents from Project Veritas, and Project Veritas complied. And they brought in the then president of the Project Veritas board, Joe Barton, for an interview. So nowhere in this are they investigating something that seems outside of a financial crime. We've heard nothing from anyone at Project Veritas or recently out of Project Veritas or an O'Keefe frenemy of some kind about them, chiseling bullets out of a wall or requesting a stained blue dress or talking to HR. It seems that it is clearly about the inurement claims, the claims of self-dealing and profligate spending by O'Keefe, as made public by the Project Veritas board before the DA started looking into it. That is, until the DA wants to make public waves, they're very skittish about confirming anything beyond that they're looking into this guy.
And we should say that a DA can do an investigation that doesn't lead to any charges. I mean, that happens pretty often.
For sure. And this is clearly a case where they've been at it for a while. O'Keefe's lawyers have suggested that they were told by Project Veritas that the investigation was over. I think what may have happened is that there was a lull in contact between Project Veritas and the Westchester D.A. I don't know what that means one way or the other, but it's been confirmed that they're still looking into O'Keefe. And who knows what's going to happen? I truly, I can see a case for an elected official like Westchester DA Miriam Rocha to be sort of gauging the temperature of the county. And I hope that, this is pursued vigorously, but as folks who have been keeping up with that HBO documentary Telemarketers know, that there's a lot of scammy nonprofits out there. And it doesn't typically seem like there's a lot of law enforcement energy targeted at scammy nonprofits, as maybe there should be.
What does Project Veritas do now without O'Keefe, who was really the face and the kind of driving force of that operation and its approach in our culture?
Oh, well, the clear hope in recent months was that by placing his Acorn Sting partner, Hannah Giles, as their interim CEO, and bringing on a man who was sort of like O'Keefe's, Svengali guru teacher in college, this right-wing activist and lawyer named Ben Wetmore, who worked for a conservative group called the Leadership Institute back in the 2000s, and sort of trained O'Keefe in college and helped him set up a right-wing campus newspaper. By placing Wetmore and Hannah Giles in the organization, I think they're hoping to create kind of like a continuity of vision. They're fighting with O'Keefe in court for donors because when O'Keefe left to create his new organization, O'Keefe Media Group, or OMG, he took the donors with him in sort of violation of his contract. He had, various non-competes and non-disparagement clauses baked in. He hadn't officially quit and done a formal resignation until well after the LLC for the new group was incorporated. And, there's serious fiduciary duty issues to him creating OMG to begin with. And so one plan is just to sue his new organization into capitulation. The other option that they're aggressively trying is courting some of their former big money donors. But it's a really factional, fluid situation at the moment. And they don't have a lot of money. They've let go over 24 people, and it was largely a financial decision. So, to put it delicately, they're on life support, really. And I don't know what's going to happen, but it doesn't look particularly promising.
Well, Matthew Phelan, thank you for taking the time to speak with us, and thanks for your reporting in The Nation on this.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure chatting, Ian. I appreciate it.
All right, that does it for this episode of the WAMC News Podcast. Thanks so much for listening. Until next time, I'm Ian Peckus.